All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Bunny Girl Senpai.
Episode 5.
Season
1, episode 5. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, because there's probably going to be a second season.
There could be.
There could be.
Never know.
There was that movie, and apparently it was received pretty well.
Yeah,
so,
which means it's probably not a completed story necessarily.
Yeah. Who knows? Who could say? But right now we are in the middle of a not completed story because while we may be outside of the time loop, there's still a whole bunch of other things. Puberty syndrome is on the rise, and lots of deflections and complicated deceptions
and pretending to be girlfriends, boyfriends, and
and of course the time loop ends at literally the most inconvenient time possible. So now
things are not going well with Sakuta and Mai in that regard. But there's a possibility that things could move along in a better way.
Indeed.
If he's able to help. What was her name?
Who cares?
Kunimi, something like that. No, Kunimi is the boy who was surprisingly.
No, see, this was it. We looked, we checked last episode, and I was like, Caleb, I think that might be worth putting in the notes. He's like, no, it's cool. It's locked up in here.
Yeah, exactly. But it's fine.
It's the whole thing of. It's not Mai is the thing, right? It's like, she's
not
cool.
even Futaba. Like
no, exactly. Yeah. Futaba does not get the proper appreciation.
Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, this is a really good, wholesome, and hilarious episode.
Yeah.
There was a lot of sweet things that Sakuta did, and a lot of ridiculously hilarious things that he did.
I've been staring at your legs for a while now, and I'm rather aroused.
Yeah, I really love the ridiculously funny, adorable, awkward high school romance thing that he's got going on with Mai. They feel like an actual boyfriend and girlfriend in the modern age in an anime.
Yep.
Now, just call me crazy, but I have never seen that in an anime. Because every single anime I've ever seen is just like, will they, won't they? Or straight up, they're the adorable old couple that is so in love with each other and so in tune with it that it's not awkward. It's just like, right? They're old,
right? We don't get to see the how it starts.
Yeah, that's why my favorite romance in all of anime, my favorite couple, if you will, is always Riza Hawkeye and Roy Mustang because it's so subtle.
It's so obvious.
It's so subtle in that you never really see any overt like I love you kind of stuff.
No, they are not a PDA couple.
Right. There's a professional kind of thing to it, and yet it's
professional displays.
It's
of
all
affection,
in the little bits of animation. But this is the awkward, just over the top aspect where he's like, I am staring at your legs and aroused while sitting here in my underwear as you're sitting atop my bed. And then she's
down
like,
at me.
Show me your sincerity. He's like, well, okay. And then she's like, no. And then, of course, she knows that he's going to like this. So instead of like standing up and actually backing away from him, she puts her foot up on his face, which he, of course, is like, oh my God, yes.
Right.
And then he follows it up with the extra bit and she kicks him again with a little bit of force to be like, okay, no, we're done here.
Right.
But she totally likes him. He totally likes her. Their flirting is so stupidly fun. I love it. So just had to say that here. I think that's where most of the wholesome, funny stuff kind of tone-wise is set up.
Yeah.
In that, she came over to say like, hey, what's going on?
Let's
we need
talk
to talk
about
here.
This, right.
Which, again, I really like, because no melodrama bullshit. Because they just talk to each other. And the fact that she's the kind of girlfriend who's like, or not girlfriend, who's going to, give calls every once in a while to be like, hey, just thinking about you. And, wanted to check in and say like, hey, I came back,
Yep.
So I love it. It feels natural and real.
And the other thing that I like about it is that it's with her being like, hey, what's the situation here? It's not like melodrama and stuff, but at the same time, it is addressing it. It's not like, oh, of course, that's totally normal. I wouldn't have any questions about that. You know, it's the, oh, okay. Oh, the whole thing with sister and stuff. Gotcha. Yep. No, I totally get it. All right. But, you know, because this shouldn't be a common occurrence, you kind of need to sort of show your sincerity.
Right. You know? And she's not a fan of it. Like, she's more of just like, okay, well, you know, if you must.
But
then,
she's
you know,
willing
to
go with it. Yeah.
But she does bring up at the end when she's walking away that you know, I'm worried. I just hope that lie doesn't turn into the truth. And
talking about that first year.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I have eyes only for you, my son. And she's like,
not talking about
if you don't get it, then never mind. And
she's
it's
talking about whether or not
the girl will end up liking him.
You.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then she's going to end up getting hurt, at least on some level.
Right.
But it's also the thing of where...
it just makes it more complicated, right? Because even if she fully trusts you, it's that, well, I don't necessarily trust this girl, right? You know. So.
And the way that this is all framed, if you think about this being like, you know, an adaptation of sorts, right? This was a very clever choice to have this be the, you know, the beginning of the episode.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
Because then at the end of the episode, she then feels like, oh, I actually liked the fact that I felt like, you know, I was your girlfriend there. I felt loved. I really don't want to have this end.
And then, looking at the picture.
Looking at Sakurajima.
At her commercials or whatever.
Video and stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And it's like,
So she does like you.
Yeah.
And what you did in that little moment where he went too far, she's panicking more so, I would say, because...
she doesn't like the potential consequences of the situation,
but the way people are maybe going to think bad of her by being connected to him.
Sure.
But once they're out of the crowd's kind of viewpoint...
Right, once she feels free to sort of have her own opinion on it.
Yep. Then she starts laughing about, you definitely went too far.
Right, that was kind of great. You know?
Right, so the mask drops there, and that was really that was really cool, because in that respect, she's now having a little... she's having a little bit of a romantic kind of feeling connected to this. So then she feels comfortable sharing things like, oh, but by the way, I mean, you said it, but I'm a virgin too. Like,
right.
Like,
yeah.
I haven't done it at all either. Yeah. But okay, in the middle though, we have our faux date here.
Her being like, "Ooh, I need to send text to my friends and stuff and whatnot." It's like, yes, I see. Okay,
right. You can definitely tell that this is something that she's treating as a faux date. She's not doing this with any intent towards making him like her more. In that aspect there. But yeah.
Then it goes on, and you know they start to actually connect a bit.
Yeah, we learn a little bit more about how she came from another city, Fukuoka, where her dad used to work, but then got transferred here. And she was a little bit of a plain girl in that she dressed very conservatively and definitely had the kind of a
low energy, probably low confidence. And
the I would say she didn't carry herself with a lot of pizzazz.
Right. It's something where even here in that picture, now granted we don't actually see her how she behaved back then.
Right.
But the signs of thinking too much about or holding other people's thoughts of you and opinions of you in too high of a regard, you could kind of see that, because why didn't she change until she got the opportunity from her dad, like transferring to a different city, right? Well, maybe because it's like the acceptance of, all right, I guess this is who I am since this is how everyone treats me, and then then I definitely want to make sure that people treat me in a different way.
Sure.
It's like she kind of doesn't give herself enough credit in the fact that she still did do this change. Now, whether this change is something that is sustainable and things like that and whatnot, there are things that she's got to figure out, right?
Yeah, some things will get left on the wayside eventually.
Yeah, but, you're growing up, you're figuring out who you are, and you made a decision, a pretty big decision about who you were going to be in this chapter of your life.
Yeah, one of the things that's really, I would say, looked back on with hindsight, you're able to tell a little bit more, is that there are certain environmental changes and certain choices, like a combination of those two, that occur or you encounter in your formative years that are so influential to the point where you almost wonder, when you're a fully realized adult, in that you're probably not going to change that much, anymore.
Sure. It'd be hard for the environment to provide something that would disrupt your life that much.
Yeah, something where you have 10 years or 20 years of history, with regards to. But you kind of realize how much something like that shaped you, to the point where it's like trying to figure out your identity at that point was kind of pointless, because there were things that were happening and shaping you that you really didn't have that much control over, or you didn't realize were going to shape you that much. So it's like the simple things, like someone deciding I'm going to learn how to play the piano or play soccer or something like that.
Yeah.
That shapes your friend group so much that those people then become really impactful in your life, to where you start to dress, act, walk, talk, a different way. And then because of that, then certain opportunities, encounters and such, happen later because of that. And it's a snowball. It keeps picking up with regards to things. But when you have a big move like this, I've seen this happen many times, where people will go through a very harsh transition because they're adapting to their new environment.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's adapting in a specific way means that she is choosing this. And I like that his wisdom here is that, hey, you chose this. Mm-hmm. So in some ways, the fact that you're able to answer honestly with me that you do like yourself, like I believe her a little bit. Like the fact that she said, don't you like who you are now? And she's like, I do. I love myself. Yeah. Like, it's almost like she's realizing for herself for the first time. When she says I do, the first time it's a bit like reflexive, Uh-huh. But then she realizes, wait, no.
Yeah,
I wasn't lying to myself. I repeat it. I love myself. And she smiles like with this little bit of more like straight back, like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then he says, are you being the typical teenager thinking this is the real you or whatever? And it's like,
yeah.
Yeah. And what he's doing here is guiding her to admit the truth. Right. And at the end, she feels upset that in some ways she was forced. She doesn't feel forced. She was
led.
She was led to reveal that to someone else, which makes her feel a little vulnerable, I would say.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, given how protective she is of making sure that no one actually sees the real her, or where she came from, or why she does the things that she does. Yeah, it makes sense that this would be a very vulnerable thing for her, and that if he's, being supportive of her in this way, which is something that she's constantly been afraid that other people wouldn't do if they saw her for who she really was, then yeah, of course she'd start to, feel a bit connected to him.
Yeah, and I liked that, she did kind of not fight back, but kind of reveal a little bit of how she was upset that he did kind of manipulate this conclusion out of her through the conversation, but being like, hey, I feel like you just kind of led me like this, and or you kind of tricked me. What did she say? I feel like you just played me, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And
then he just completely moves on.
And yet she does smile at the end once he's deciding to move on with regards to things. So, yeah, they help her friend, which felt like a little bit of like just an innocuous thing,
random thing. Yeah. Why is it here? Sort of a deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but is this the same beach that everyone keeps going to?
I'm not sure. It might be. It could be. I feel like it is.
I feel like we've been to this same spot now a lot. A pattern is starting to emerge, Jacob.
Yeah. Well, and given the fact that the ED
has her walking on
on the beach, but also that the previous ED with Mai was Mai walking on a beach.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, man. And
I like EDs that feature.
Yeah, it's a good environment for pensive, kind of introspective moments,
Yeah.
But I do feel like this is a pattern that is contributing maybe a little bit to the weirdness of some of the conflicts in the show.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, hey, the school might be weird, or this beach, might be weird.
This sand is from this shore connects to the river Styx.
Right. This is the sands by which things are lost, and and
I mean, yeah, because if we have things like puberty syndrome, as far as the supernatural mechanics and things, it could theoretically connect to whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So he does the boyfriend thing and brings something to her while she's in the infirmary,
the nurse's office
or whatever. Yeah, and it's sweet, and it's something where other people would have noticed that he did that. So yeah, it's great. She brings up the idea though that she was sick. She knew she was sick. She didn't take the day off because if I missed one day, that would be fatal, and I have to keep up with the others. Mm-hmm. And she's still worried about what they're thinking about her right now.
Super not sustainable.
Yeah, holy crap. Like, she really needs that rude awakening with regards to this. And the way he kind of uses the Sakurajima Mai kind of storyline as the basis for this wisdom, that's saying, like, I don't think you need that many people to like you. I think you could have the whole world hate you, but as long as you had one person that needed you, you'd be okay. And
that
he uses
pillar
his
of
example.
Support, right?
Right.
And
but that was what was also the same thing with Mai, was that she needed one person, at the very least, to remember her, to notice her, to be able to hold on.
And it was the same thing also with Kaida.
It was the same thing with Kaida.
So it's like, he gives this information that's very helpful, but then, of course, when she's like, yes, pillar, support, yes, so you can maybe be my pillar, and, like, I'm conjecture completely, but, it's things like that where it's like, additional things of where the wheels are turning, and and she's like, oh, okay, maybe what if it wasn't pretend.
Yeah, the Peach moment was hilarious.
Yeah, oh my god, Peach emoji, and she's like, my butt isn't that big, and it's like, girl.
Yeah, the funny thing is that I think actually they have shown multiple times that she does have actually a pretty decent butt as far as all things go compared to a lot of the other girls. They don't use the same like character model for every single girl, basically.
Of course, naturally. Yeah.
I loved the talk with Mai, and it eventually ended up them with
it's like, I was just thinking about you. I hope you're not naked.
Fantasizing and stuff.
Right.
But I love that even though she was joking, when she has her little quote thing of, I'll leave home at once and come see you in Kagoshima or something, you could see her legs fidgeting like she's...
Like, I wouldn't mind that.
Right, this is her fantasy, right?
Yep.
And she's kind of sharing it with him, even though she's like,
doing it with the deflection of,
Yeah, it's not like I want this or anything.
Right. This isn't something that I'm saying I want you to do. It's, something that maybe you would think of doing.
Yeah, and then we always, for whatever reason, we have to have an awkward Futaba scene in, like, every episode.
I'm telling you, Futaba is just, like, I really feel bad for her in a lot of ways, because...
It's weird, because she gives off this vibe that she's, like, just, like... She's just rife with problems, But like no one has time for Futaba, basically.
Even though she carries this team, even though she gives the convoluted exposition when you need it, and how the hell did she figure this out?
Well, that's the thing, though, is that she doesn't actually ask for help. Everyone else comes to her and asks for help.
Sure.
Like, literally this happens, and it's two at the same time, and I love that it happened this way.
Right.
Because she likes Kunami, right?
Right.
He's a potato, but hey, she's got enough complications with her life, probably in her head.
Maybe she could use a potato.
She could use a potato
can make batteries from potato.
Put electricity into. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She's like potato emoji, eggplant emoji, and then like
potato emoji, wet emoji.
Yes, exactly. So Kunami shows up just like randomly in his like potato self, and she nearly has an existential
we are so
crisis.
Terrible to Kunami.
I know, but the fact that she like freaks out so much and has to like inner peace, inner peace.
Yeah, because it's the whole thing of, I deal with precise calculations and experiments. I make instant coffee using a chemistry set.
Yes.
But, there's this guy that I like who has a girlfriend.
Like, I love how awkward this was. Like the idea that he's like, oh, yeah, he's probably gone to see that first year. And he's like, oh, right, that was her. Want me to pass on a message? Just like she's like a telegram like service,
right, it's
you know?
Sure, I'm used to it, fine, whatever.
But then he shows up, and instead of saying anything to Kurumi, they just have this awkward staring moment that is amazing, and then he just shuts the door immediately. Because you cannot make this up. This is so funny.
Because she's wanting to be helpful to Kurumi and like, oh yeah, I can pass on a message, like, yeah, you know, whatever, it's cool. And then he's just like, I see what's going on here, close the door, and it's like, no, this is complicated enough as it is.
Yeah. And we had multiple little lines like this of if that was all it took, then blank. That was said like multiple times this episode.
I'm pretty sure he'd know by now, yeah. And then we cut from that to Kurumi just being like, anyway, you guys seem busy, bye. You know,
right. So it's like, wait, well, then what were you trying to tell him?
No, well, yeah, right, exactly.
Like, I think what it had to be was that he was probably bringing up the rumors. And being like, hey, I should tell you, there's people spreading rumors about the first year you seem to be spending time with.
Yeah, that's probably it.
It gets brought up at work here.
Right. But like, oh man, one of the things that I gotta say I really appreciated about that scene and how they handled it is the Futaba blush like bit. Because the blushing girl in anime happens so much, most of the time I don't buy it. Right.
True.
Most of the time it's just like, okay, yeah, it's there as far as like comedy and things like that, and because it's a trope in anime, right?
Totally.
And it's a trope for different reasons and things like that. And tropes can be useful, right? Now, I'm not knocking tropes, but in the case of Futaba, when she's actually starting to freak out, it's like, nope, I buy that. I buy that. She's like, no, the guy that I like is over there. He has a girlfriend, and then you're implying that I wanted to be alone with him and everything like that. Why
are you making it so obvious?
Why are you making it so obvious?
He's the potato. Why are you the potato? Energy
Even the
spreading
potato
to you?
might be able to figure this out, right? Thankfully, don't worry. He is a potato through and through, solid starch. He did not pick up on it at all, probably. But yeah.
I also love that while I love to roast Kunimi just in general. There's almost no reason to, though, because when his girlfriend kind of lambasts Sakuta. Sakuta is like, okay, I've had it. Your girlfriend chewed me out again the other day.
Right.
And he's like, oh, well,
fine,
okay.
I'll call her tonight.
He's like, that must have sucked. And he's like, well, it's come down to it. It's her or me. And he's like, well, I mean, you say it like there's like, actually it's a hard choice. I'll call her tonight. It's like, oh my God.
And what I love about it is that he's probably not saying I'm going to call her and break up with her. It's probably going to be that, honey, yeah, babe, chill.
Right.
Chill.
Right. It's not that he's necessarily going to break up with her. It's the fact that he immediately goes, I'm in your corner, dude. Yeah, don't worry.
Right, exactly. He's in his corner, and he knows how Sakuta talks about things. Right. So he's like, I may be a potato, but I
understand you. I get you. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, he does say, oh, that's right. He says, oh, I should have told you yesterday. Gotcha. Yeah, about Koga-san, the ugly rumors going around. Yep. So now he's like, okay, yep, it's from the basketball team. Yep, I know exactly where this is coming from.
Yeah.
I know how to solve it.
Yep.
Random Futaba encounter on the bridge?
Again, depending on Futaba, and it's just like, oh, hey, Futaba, so how do I do this? Sure, use your head. Okay, all right, thanks. Good talk.
Right. I get vibes every once in a while that she doesn't like Sakuta necessarily, but she has complicated feelings surrounding Sakuta.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where they are very comfortable and familiar with each other.
Yeah.
And he depends on her an awful lot.
And she's so accommodating.
She's very accommodating. And
even though she is so like almost in an over the top kind of verbal way, but not in her actions as much, being like, ugh, you unhandsome pig,
Right, doing all the things to put him down, but it's if she is giving him all of this help, where is the balance?
Where's the balance?
Where's the balance? Because they are at some sort of balance, it seems like. There is an equilibrium that has been reached. Whether it's because he is doing things for her that we just don't see, which is probably unlikely, or that she is getting a lot more out of their interactions than he is like just as a result of them interacting, you know. And whether that's because it's him specifically or just like a way that she is for people in general, or who knows, right?
And then we have Sakuta going all out and bringing up all of his testosterone monkey energy to basically be like, I'm literally going to throw poop
Channel
in your face.
virgin power.
Right. But like he literally did I threw poop in your face to like demasculate you.
Well,
like,
to emasculate him, but then also to keep him surprised enough that he can keep talking his things, keep talking at him, and then by the time he's sort of like, he's like, wait, what? Then he can run.
So he thought this out. This was really smart. He didn't kick him in the dick because in some ways that might have triggered the monkey enrage button.
Right. And then escalates too quickly, and then it's okay, now I'm going to break you, you know.
Right. Because by just causing a sharp amount of pain by kicking him in the shin, which is actually a really smart way. There's a lot of nerve centers there that get that like electricity, like and you just ow, dude.
Right.
Like he wasn't expecting it. He threw up this to be like, look up here, and then kick. Genius. But then he goes and lays into him with the words, and he basically belittles him to the point where he's like, you know, you actually like are less of a human being. You're stupid. You make yourself look stupid. You're living your life hella lame. And he's like, no, I have to put this out here. I'm a virgin. That whole thing there is so surprising.
That's a power play in high school. Like, a very odd power play.
Yeah, it's a very odd, confusing power play.
Because no one will doubt him on this. Because if he's going to shout that out, you don't proudly proclaim that when you're in high school, right? I'm a virgin, right?
Right, but it's the same thing as the love confession.
Exactly.
In episode 3, where everyone is going to now know this.
Right.
So he just killed also the rumor story about them being rabbits by saying, no.
Right.
I'm actually a virgin.
And it's not saying anything about her, because then people might think that he's defending her.
Right.
He is just bringing himself down.
Yep. It's perfect.
And then they walk away casually at first, and then
like the way they run away is perfect. So, all right, we get to see a lot more with regards to Koga's, I would say, true self coming out here. But
how can I ever repay you?
How can I ever repay you? And beat my friend after we're done with this lie then. And he kind of sees it as like that's the only thing really you can do.
Well, and it's also like after he says that, and then there's the wind and it focuses on her and everything, it's like, no, she's not going to be doing that. Like,
no, that's in some ways a point where I could have seen her crying potentially there, because she's like, that's so sweet, but like also, I
might be getting to the point where I don't want that.
I might want more. So then she kind of compromised with I want more than that. I'll become your best friend since you won't find anyone else.
It's the saying I want more than that, but at the same time being like, okay, but it doesn't. I'm not gonna bring up the G word, right? Yeah.
How much you want to bet? Next episode there'll be a time loop of some kind. What?
No.
You kidding me? No.
Definitely not.
Yeah. This arc in general, as I would say, it is fun in its predictability at times, because I really like the wholesome aspects of it.
Yeah.
And then the comedy is, of course, something that hits constantly.
So a bit with bringing the outfit for Kaida and being like, here you go. I figured if she was wearing nice clothes, then she might, feel better about going outside. It's like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's so sweet. Like,
that was
sweet. Like Mai and Sakuta are the best part about the show, right? Like, hands down, like no contest in my mind.
I want everyone to be friends with Kaida by the end of it.
Yes, but Kaida is like the runner-up, right? So, yeah.
So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.